privilege to just tell you a little bit about my story. Brokenness is beautiful. This has been the theme of my life for the last year and a half. Like many other stories, I grew up in a home with two loving parents. I went to church, and I experienced God's love at a young age. But when I was in high school, my senior year, my love for God was tested. The church I grew up in my mind had turned its back on me and was doing everything but showing me love. So I didn't want to have anything to do with them. Around this time, I also entered into a relationship that quickly pushed physical boundaries that should not have been pushed. By the time I left for college, I was broken. The relationship I was in was the only thing I felt I could control, so I clung onto it with everything I had. Eventually, I was living a double life. I was living one way at home and at school, and I was living a completely different life when I was with my boyfriend. I wanted to please whoever I was with at the time. I never wanted to let anyone down, and I was trying to find satisfaction in a relationship that ultimately left me feeling empty. And I didn't even know how I got there, and I didn't know how to get out. I was completely broken. Then at the end of my sophomore year, I got hired at a Christian camp as a counselor in Northern Ohio called Skyview Ranch. It was there that my life completely transformed. It only took me a few days to realize that the life I was living was not going to translate into the job I had. How could I teach my campers to love the Lord if my life completely contradicted everything I said? I would tell my campers, love the Lord, yet I love the world. And there was nothing in my life that showed the love of God. So it was there, on a hill, in the middle of Amish country, that I made the decision and to surrender my life to the Lord. And that meant letting go of a relationship that I held on to for so long. But it was in that moment when my brokenness was made beautiful. Brokenness is not inherently beautiful, but when I surrendered my life to the Lord, His power was made perfect in my weakness, in my brokenness. Ecclesiastes 8:5 says, "Whoever obeys the Lord will come to no harm. The wise heart will know the proper time and procedure. For there is a proper time and procedure for every matter, though a man's miseries weigh heavy upon him." I read this verse when I felt the most broken, and it provided me with hope that whatever decisions I made, and no matter how broken I got, the Lord's glory was going to be shown in the end, and all I could do was sit back and let Him work. Don't get me wrong, I made mistakes that summer. I said really stupid things to campers, and it was hard. But every day, in the midst of my brokenness, I could find beauty, because I knew that in my brokenness, God's power was being made perfect, and that I wasn't doing it alone. My life is by no means perfect now either. Last summer, I went back to camp, and I made mistakes, and God daily shows me areas of my life that need work. But every day, I get up, and I don't fear the brokenness of life before me, because God has already gone before me by sending His Son, Jesus Christ, to die for me, in my place. I don't deserve this life. I deserve death. But because of God's love for me, I'm able to experience a life of hope for something more than this world. My brokenness is nothing to be ashamed of, because God's glory shines through that brokenness. My brokenness has been made beautiful through God's love. So that's just a little bit about my story. If anything I said rings true with any of you, please come and talk to me. If you love camp like I do, or want to know more about camp ministry or anything like that, how it affected me,